Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different because I'm going to be sharing with you my zero waste period routine. Now, I'm just going to be honest, we're going to be getting a little bit graphic, but to be honest, I just think, you know what, if you've got a vagina, if you have a period, you should be able to talk about these things. So, that being said, hold on to your knickers because we're about to get into it. So yeah, I've always tried to be quite eco-friendly, but the one thing I always kind of struggled with and I didn't really think about in the beginning was my period, because to be honest, I think at the beginning we all just want to be comfortable and have things be easy on our period. So I always thought that you couldn't really beat the pads and tampons situation, but actually I was wrong, because you can. You can have a very, very comfortable period using eco-friendly products. You just need to know how to use it correctly. So I'm going to share that with you in a minute, but first we're going to talk about some environmental period facts.
Okay, so this is the serious part of the video, but we will keep it brief. So an individual goes through approximately 11,000 sanitary products in their lifetime. That's anywhere from 25 to 150 kilograms of tampons and pads. Single-use products generate 200,000 tons of waste a year. They all contain plastic. In fact, pads are around 90% plastic, and they all contain toxic substances. A pad takes 500 years to break down. That's not to disappear, but to break down into smaller microplastics. Over 700,000 panty liners, 2.5 million tampons and 1.4 million pads are flushed down the toilet every single day. 1 million seabirds and 100,000 sea mammals die every single year as a result of plastic waste in the ocean. By switching to cups, you'll use 5 cups in a lifetime instead of anywhere from 5 to 7,000 tampons. Plus you'll save a load of money. So you can save the planet and save money. It's a win-win.
So today there are so many products on the market when it comes to having a more eco-friendly or zero waste period. I mean, you have everything from reusable pants to reusable pads, panty liners, even tampons, and you also have period cups. So there's literally something to suit absolutely everybody, because I know there's some things that some people won't like, so you have a whole load of things to choose from. For me, I just use 2 things. I use the cup and I use the period pants, and to be honest, for me they're the perfect combination for comfort, to not have to worry about changing anything for long periods of time, and to not have to worry about leaks or anything like that. Like, they're honestly fantastic. So this is the cup. Now, it can definitely be daunting in the beginning, like it is quite intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, if you put it in wrong it can be very uncomfortable. When I first looked into it, everyone's like feedback was really positive, and I was thinking, why is it so uncomfortable for me? So I would rather be honest and say it probably will be really uncomfortable for your first period, but once you get used to it, it's going to be absolutely fine, so stick with it. I use the Organi Cup and I absolutely love it. I actually got it on a 2-for-1 offer. They regularly have offers on their website and they always like share about it on social media, so definitely try that. Now, me and my sister got them together, so she had one and I had one, but I would recommend having 2 or 3 of these just so that you always have one ready to go. Basically, with the cup, you fold it, you insert it, leave it 12 hours, take it out, wash it, reinsert it. It's that easy. But yeah, for me in the beginning it was very uncomfortable. If it's too low down or if it's at the wrong angle, it literally feels like you've sat on a fist and it's got lost up there. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's horrific. But once you learn how to put it in correctly, you literally don't feel it at all. So with these tips, hopefully that won't happen to you, and hopefully you won't know what it's like. But yeah, to insert it, I use the C shape. So there's various folds. For me, the C shape is the easiest. You just literally fold it in half, like you pinch it and fold it in half. But on the Organi Cup packaging, they have a few different folds that you can try, and I mean, there's loads you can look up online as well, so you'll definitely find one that you like. There's like a diagonal one, I don't know, there's a good few. When you're inserting it, you just need to remember to push it upwards and at an angle towards your tailbone at the same time, because I didn't know that in the beginning, and that's where a lot of my issues came from. It was just completely sitting at the wrong angle. So yeah, I definitely made these mistakes so that you don't have to. So you're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, when it's up as far as you can get it, you just let go. It pops open. There's actually like a pop sound, which is really weird because you can hear it from outside while it's inside. But when it pops open, it basically creates like this vacuum to stop any like leakage or like odor or anything like that. So yeah. Now, one thing I found difficult is actually inserting it, because the instructions aren't that easy. Like, it says like insert it, then let go. But I don't know about you, but for me, I can't get my hand like up there. But it didn't really explain how to get it in any further except for shoving your whole hand up, which just doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. If so, fair play to you, it'll be a lot easier. I just push it up, hope that the fold doesn't open, and then once I pull my hand out, I try and push it up a bit further. But yeah, it is fine like once you get used to it. Like, to be honest, I nearly gave up in the beginning because it was so uncomfortable. Like, it was almost like painful, but it's because I'd done it wrong. If you don't get it high up enough, it will stop you being able to wee, because I discovered that on my first try as well. Basically, your urethra and your vaginal canal, is that how you say it? They're very close together, so if it's too far down, you can actually pinch your urethra closed. So yeah, just don't go too low. But to be honest, I was so lucky that I was working from home the first week that I was using this, because I literally spent half the day in the bathroom trying to take it out so that I could put it back in, because I was so sitting there uncomfortable with how much I could feel it inside. That was a bit of a nightmare, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm making it sound really bad, but it's definitely something you get used to and something you get better at. You know, practice makes perfect. But I am really glad that I kept going with it, because now it makes my periods a lot easier. For removing it, the best thing you can do is actually like squat down a little bit, because that like shortens your vaginal canal. But yeah, you squat down a little bit, you do the little pushes in your lower abdomen to push it down lower, and then you grab the bottom of the cup once it's low enough, pinch it to break the seal, and then pull it out. To be honest, sometimes I pull it from this little string, which technically you're not meant to. I'm not sure why. I think it's because the seal doesn't break, so you're pulling it down open, which is a bit more uncomfortable, but like, it's fine, to be honest, for me anyway. One time I literally thought that it was stuck inside me forever, because I put it in before I went to bed, and then when I lay down at night and moved around, it like moved up higher and I couldn't get it in the morning. All I could reach was this little string and it was too slippy. And I'll tell you, I nearly lost my life. Like, I had these visions or nightmares of me calling my doctor, having to like stick my legs up in the air while he like put his hand in to try and like wrench it out. Like, it was horrific. But you know what, it came out, it was fine. And using the tips I gave, like with the pushes and everything, like, you will get it out. So if it does get stuck or you can't find it, do not panic. Just push and hope for the best. Now, to remove it when I'm at home, I just take it out, I rinse any like visible blood at the sink, then I use antibacterial soap, and then I pop it in a bowl of water in the microwave for 5 minutes, because I just want to make sure that it's completely disinfected. And I feel like that definitely has to do the job. But if you're going to pop the same one back in, for the love of Christ, let it cool down first. Because I mean, I won't go into detail, but I didn't let it cool down on the first try, and nobody needs that to happen to them. Now, if you're in public and you're in like a cubicle with a toilet or with a sink in the cubicle, what I do is just rinse the blood off, and if there's soap, use soap, put it back in, and then clean it when you get home. If there's no sink in the cubicle, that's why it's handy to have a second one, because you can just use the second one that's already pre-cleaned, and maybe have like a little Ziploc bag that you can put the used one in until you get home and clean it. The thing is, it rarely happens, because you can get so long out of it. You can just plan your day around it. So if you have to go somewhere for the day, I'd change it at like 9 a.m. and then you have till 9 p.m. that night without having to even think about changing it. So to be honest, it is quite easy to get around that. So yeah, I think that's kind of everything that I wondered before I tried it. But we'll talk about the pros and cons of it. So pros, I mean, it's zero waste up until the point when it needs replacing, and that's like up to 5 years, I think, if you treat it really well. So up to that point, it's completely zero waste. You get up to 12 hours of use out of it, so it's way better than like a tampon, which also means that you can sleep in it without being worried of forgetting or leaving it in too long, because like that you can change it before bed and then not have to change it till like 11 p.m. the next morning. So definitely easier than a tampon. Now, cons, it can be difficult to get used to, and it can be a struggle at the beginning. But to be honest, like, you get past that so quickly, it's not really a con. You just have a few days of being like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's fine. But other than that, I did read that it can actually dislodge IUDs. There has been a study about that. So just be careful if you have an IUD. IUD, yeah, just, look into that first maybe. So finally, we'll talk about period pants. Now, initially, I was wary of these for some reason. I do think I thought that it would be like sitting in my own period, which sounds weird and ridiculous now because it's not. Like, it's literally the exact same as using a pad. So I don't know what I was wary about. It's basically a pad, but better and more comfortable. Yeah, I have 3 pairs of period pants now. They're all the Wuka pants, but I know there's so many brands that do them. So there's like Love Luna, there's Modi Body. I even saw that Pennies have some now. But to be honest, if like me, you're doing this to be like zero waste or more eco-friendly, I wouldn't go buying them from a fast fashion brand. But at the same time, I suppose it's better than nothing. So you do you. But yeah, Wuka pants also have deals the odd time, and I saw even for Earth Day they were giving away like a free pair. So always keep an eye out for those deals as well, because they're just handy, Yeah, I think it's good to have a pair for each day of your period, just so you don't have to like wash it and dry it really quickly, so that you can reuse it again, because they're quite thick and they take a while to dry. So for me, I would need I have 3 pairs, but I would rather have 5 or 6 pairs, just to make sure I always have one ready. And yeah, when wearing these, I honestly have no fears of leakage whatsoever. They're fantastic. For cleaning them, at the end of the day, I take them off, and I have cold showers, so I just hang it in the shower with me and make sure it's under the stream of the water. And by the end of the shower, the water's running clear. So if it's fully clean, if the water's running clear, instead of with a hint of red in it. If it's red, just keep rinsing it, but make sure it's cold water. After that, I just put it in the washing machine on a delicate wash with washing powder, but I don't put in softener, because I read that can be bad for the underwear. Now, if you're out and about, same as the cup, just either have an extra pair with you, and then you can throw these in a Ziploc bag until you get home. But again, you can kind of time it well. So yeah, they're very comfy, very secure. I mean, I think we've all had that happen, where you get out of bed in the morning and you're wearing a pad and you feel that trickle or that freaking cascade down your leg, and you're fucked, right? I can honestly say that's never happened with the period pants, so I just feel they're a lot more secure. So yeah, they're pretty darn good, but we'll go through the pros and cons as well, just for the sake of it. So for the pros, they're incredibly comfy. They're, again, zero waste until the point where you have to replace them. They last longer than pads. No leakage. They're just they're just great. I don't know what else to say. For cons, so you can have bleaching or staining. So what that means is, because they don't use unnatural dyes or dangerous chemicals, the dye can run out a lot quicker. And because the pH of your vagina is quite acidic, it can actually cause the dye at the part where it touches your vagina to wear away quicker. Now, that's completely happened to me. So for me, I don't know what this means for myself, but the dye on all my pairs disappeared after my first use. So the pants themselves are fine, but just on the inside of this part, it almost looks like it's bleached, it's completely white. On one of the pairs, it's a rusty colour. It's just where the black dye has started to run away, and it's absolutely normal. But yeah, for me it happened with my first pair. Now, I know some other people who use them and theirs are okay, so I think it does depend on your vagina's pH and stuff. What does that mean that mine happened straight away though? I hope that's not bad for me. Maybe I should look into that. But I did actually contact Wuka pants just to make sure, and yeah, they said it's absolutely normal. It's just because they're made with natural dyes, so it's fine. The only other con that I had was, for me, if I wear them too long, it can sometimes start to sting my skin a little bit, the outside of my vagina again, which, I mean, was a bit worrying. But I think what I realised is if I leave them on too long, they can become a little bit saturated, and the material that touches your skin is wet. So as it's friction against your skin, it can start to I suppose cause a bit of friction burn or whatever. So yeah, I use the pads with the cup, and I think it is the perfect combination, because when I have the cup in, I wear the pants, but only as an extra protection. Nothing gets out when you have the pad on, or when you have the cup on. So it's really just for extra protection, for peace of mind. The only bit of leakage I ever have is once I pop this up, if there was any blood in my vaginal canal underneath the point where the cup goes. Obviously that'll come out, but nothing above the point of the cup will leak. So really these are just there for peace of mind and just for that slight little bit of blood that might come out. But to be honest, if you're doing what I do, you can get a lot of just the extra light pairs of underwear, and they're a lot thinner as well. Now on other days where my period isn't as heavy, I won't use this at all. I'll just use the pants by themselves. So on that day I use like a medium pair or like an extra heavy pair. But yeah, it really gives you a lot of flexibility because you can wear the cup and have that complete peace of mind. Or if you're at home and you're not leaving the house, what I do is I just wear the pads on those, or the pants on those days. So you get like that little bit of decision of whether you want to use the cup or not once you have the pants. Why do I keep saying it wrong? So yeah, that's like the only things I could think of to tell you that maybe things you might have wondered. If you have any other questions about them or what it's like or difficulties or anything about them, let me know in the comments, because I'd be happy to make another video on it, because it is something I think there's no excuse for really. Like, I'm not trying to like shame anybody, but like there really is no need to use pads and tampons anymore. These are easier and better and they save you money in the long run, so really it's a win-win for everybody. You know, I actually see that like people want the government to give out like free tampons and stuff, but I mean, if every woman was just given 5 pairs of these and 2 of these, they would never need a tampon again. So I mean, I do think this is the way forward, and yeah, I just think everyone should give it a shot because you honestly won't look back. So yeah, that's me done trying to convince you to try my zero waste period routine. If you want to see any more videos like this, or you know, eco-friendly or anything at all, please give me a follow and maybe like the video because it all helps. And yeah, chat to you after.